Good morning, everyone. Paula Mattisonsierra here. And so, our topic today, again, we're profiling entrepreneurs. This is our concept now moving forward. There's so many rich stories there. Today, academic to $1 million roundtable, and I'm just going to use the word consistently. We're going to be profiling the extraordinary Bardia Hariri, agent and financial professional at New York Life. I'm going to just stop talking. The show starts now. Good morning, everyone. Doing something new all the way through because that's what a live show is all about. Paula Madison here, Power Marketing SF, and the host of 10 at 10. This morning, I have with me Bardia Hariri, agent, financial professional, New York Life. And there are some wonderful stories, and I can't wait to share them with you. Bardia, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Paula. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So I'm just gonna jump into it. It took us so long to get this date together, get everything together. You are a busy man, sir. Um, I was just so excited when I first heard your story and just thought people need to hear more stories of this kind of resiliency and just moving forwardness. Share with us, where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Thank you so much. I was born in Iran, 1985, a couple of years ago. And first generation immigrant that traveled. I went to Sweden when I was a child, and then to UK, Southeast Asia, Malaysia. Then again back in UK, I did most of my studies there, my bachelor's, my MBA, my PhD in economics in UK. I was university professor back in UK for 4 or 5 years. And about 10 years ago, we moved to the US and started from scratch with $3,000 in our pocket.
Oh, or what was that decision process like? Because it sounds like you were on a pretty nice path, is what I'm hearing. Professor, was that a tenure track?
Yep, tenure track. And I worked so hard for it. But then suddenly I said no after almost 4.5, 5 years of being tenure track. I was teaching in a business school, finance and economics, and I was also MBA executive coordinator as well. So I was flying faculty between London to Hong Kong to Malaysia to Serbia. Every other weekend, I was in one of these countries teaching MBA for executives who needed to attend part-time classes. But in one of my trips to the US, I was just visiting. I happened to stay at my uncle's house, who happened to be one of the senior advisors at New York Life, 30 plus years of experience. I spent about 1 week, 2 weeks in their house, and that totally changed my life. I just looked into his lifestyle, into his freedom, and his sense of abundance, into his community involvement. The fact that he also started from nothing in back in the 80s and where he is now and what he can provide to his family. I didn't even bother asking him how. All I said to him is, I want your job. Can I send you my resume? Yeah. So that sold the idea, and it was that strong, that vision. It was so strong that I had to go back to UK and I signed my resignation. I remember my salary was about 40,000 pounds a year, something like about $80,000 a year. I'm talking about 10, 11 years ago. And then suddenly the head of the department said, I will give you 65,000 pounds a year. So it was very
Stay.
tempting. It was very tempting because that was the highest that any academy could earn in UK. But again, I said no. And I'm so happy that I said no because now is a little bit over 10x what I'm earning now. So yeah, it was a good move. But
Yep.
hey, we started with $3,000 in our pocket. We were homeless. Our first home was literally one studio flat, my wife and I, but it worked out.
Yeah. What's your opinion then on failure and setbacks? Because there had to be that little feel in your stomach, though. Um, what's your opinion of that?
Oh yeah, you fall down, you stand up stronger. It's all about learning experience. Nobody else can teach you. When you fail, you experience it yourself. That failure can be based on self-defeating thoughts or based on the wrong mentors around you, wrong people around you, wrong timing. All of those determinants of failure are great success stories because you learn something new and you make sure that you pivot and you make a better version of yourself. Yeah. I mean, life, people say life is short, but I don't believe in that. Life is whatever amount of time that it has to be. It's all about the width and depth of the life, not about the length of the life. And all of these failures are actually are great opportunities to keep learning and create a deeper life. I mean, the length of it, yeah, we have no control, but the width and depth of life we have control of.
Let me ask you a question because I my ears just picked up that at the time you're a young professor who was already married. So I know in Think and Grow Rich, they made a point of one of their big ways of becoming a success is a
Mhm.
choice of a mate. How important do you think a choice of a mate um, uh, is to your growth?
Yeah. You see, I always keep reminding myself that I was not born to be mediocre, right? Especially we are so lucky to be in America because American dream, I believe, is alive and well. For somebody who was born in another country and lived in Europe and Asia and Middle East and Southeast Asia, I can believe that there is no other country better than America when it comes to determining our destination. We can determine our destiny and our destination and the quality of our life by just focusing on our mindset and picking up the right mentors in our life. So to me, I think waking up every morning and having that affirmation of what sort of a lifestyle I need, what sort of freedom I need, and just following that energy. And again, thinking about the same thing when I'm going back to bed, that became part of me. And that's why I became very resilient. And every failure became a great opportunity to make a better version of myself.
I love that. I love that. One, how does one consistently earn a seat at the $1 million round table? Is it just mindset?
The how, so let me just tell the audience what MDRT is. MDRT is the top 1% of financial professionals globally. I think there's 75 participating countries. And I was fortunate to be consistently MDRT for almost, I think, 7 or 8 years. Uh,
Nice.
so the how is easy. Everybody can do that. The why, I think, is more important. I was hungry. As I said, I came to this country with 3 grand in my pocket, and that's it with my wife. So I was hungry, and I closed all the doors. I didn't want to go back again to academy and say, "Hey, oops, I'm sorry, I made a mistake." So I closed all the doors. I
Like,
had
take me back.
yeah, take it back, yeah, and I had no other backup plan, no plan B. Plan B is to make sure plan A works. Just reminding myself why I made that decision. I didn't want to just drive a Ford. I didn't want to just rent a 1 bedroom house. I didn't want to just live that lifestyle. I wanted to go to every restaurant anytime that I want without looking into the menu and order anything that I wanted. I wanted to make sure that every quarter I take my family to a vacation. And as an academic, I couldn't. I had to compromise on something. I couldn't have all of this. So that why was my passion. That why was my drive. Now, the what, yeah, a series of activities that you have to do as a financial professional to build up your practice, especially the first 3 years. So I made sure that I attend events 3 times in a week. Meetup.com, eventbrite.com. I used to attend these events for 3 years in a row every week, 3 of them every week. And I used to go there half an hour earlier so that I could build relationship with the organizer of the event and see how I can be a resource for that organizer. How can I sponsor them? Whether giving them space in my office, whether providing food and beverage for the attendees, whether providing content and speakers, something so that they can do better as event organizers. And then I joined BNI, Business Network International, which is the largest referral networking in the world. And I try to leverage the meetup events to give visibility to my BNI power partners so that they could have qualified leads, they could get more visibility. And then I started building my power partners, the CPAs, estate planning attorneys, tax attorneys, just through BNI and the meetup.com. And my intention was just to give them business. The more you give, the more reciprocity you will see in the long run. So, and then of course the joint work with senior advisors, that helped a lot, because you think you know a lot, but you don't know much in the first 2 or 3 years of your practice. So I make sure that I do a lot of joint work with those who have been around for 20, 30 years. And I measured my results every week. I was sitting
Oh,
and
wow.
asking myself, did I attend 3 events? Did I give 3 referrals to my power partners? Did I visit 2 BNI chapters?
Yeah.
Did I take care of my power partners? Did I take care of my clients? Did I attend quarterly reviews with my clients? So I was having my own metrics of success every week on Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then if there was one of them showing shortfall, then I had the entire Friday, the entire Saturday, the entire Sunday to catch up with my
Mhm.
shortfall. Because next week is next week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one week I do meet all of my KPIs, my key performance indicators, then I know next quarter is going to be a good quarter. But if
Yeah.
this week, even I got the best client this week, doesn't matter. If I didn't meet my KPIs, then I know next quarter is going to be terrible. So I have the entire Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to make it happen. So measuring your results is very important every week.
So it's you're literally focused primarily on creating relationships.
Absolutely.
Um, I when I read the E-Myth Revisited, I love that structure that he laid out, which is you can either be the technician, manager, or the big thinker,
Yeah.
the person who comes in and also oversees everything, right? And your focus should always be on less touching in that process. Did you see it that way when you laid out your KPIs?
Yeah, absolutely. You see, you have to have your initial KPIs and keep learning and improving it to make sure that it's relevant and is addressing the results that you want. To me, in this industry, in the financial industry, having 100 new names through these events every single week, that's non-negotiable. For the
Mm,
first 3 years, whoever wants to do this business, they need to have a system that they can generate 100 new names. Setting up four central of influence meetings, which means people like CPAs, attorneys, tax attorneys, people that are dealing with your ideal clients. Setting up at least 4 of those meetings with them and understanding what problems they solve, how they solve those problems, so that you can send them more referrals. That's again another non-negotiable activity. And making sure that you give at least 2 or 3 referrals to these people so that they see the value of your partnership. Networking is all about giving. So having the right people that you can give is the key. So, and making sure every week it happens. So that's why that metrics worked for me, but it took me a couple of months, I think 2 or 3 months to figure that out. And as a result of those, then you can have at least 2 clients every week. That's how I got about 100 clients every year. And then on my third year, I had 300 clients.
a lot of folks that are out there who don't do what we do actively, because I have to say, I'm always surprised when I meet folks who, wow, you meet every week or you meet once a month. I, I don't even understand that. I should be in my office, right? So they see networking as that guy who's always giving out like a million business cards, right? And then he spams us all. We know we've experienced that guy. Um, Tell me what your opinion is of networking, because you're sharing that a lot with us. You are part of quite a few networking, high level networking groups.
Mhm.
What's your opinion of it so that folks, because we're trying to shake some of them out
Yeah,
of this space, right?
yeah. You know, Again, going back to my weekly KPIs, I make sure that I meet with 4 power partners every week, a CPA, an estate planning attorney, and a tax attorney, for instance. So during that half an hour meeting, the main purpose for me was to understand how to give them business, what problems they solve. So networking is all about giving. So it won't happen unless you know what problem they solve. It won't happen unless you know their story. It won't happen unless you know their core value and their core value proposition. So that was my intention. So if there was a half an hour meeting, I made sure that 20 minutes of it, at least they talk and talk about their problems, the case studies, and I was genuinely taking notes. I have a spreadsheet that I have all these people that I met over the past 10 years. I know exactly what type of ice cream they like into that detail, because it's all about understanding people and having that sense of relevance, right? So, and then when the time comes, you can refer them somebody. I mean, that's how I generated those. That's why I generated those 100 new names every week through meetup.com or Eventbrite, because I could give business to these power partners. And through that conversation, I could add value about the strength of our relationship. After a couple of times, then they would ask you, okay, how can I help you? What businesses do you do? And then they reciprocate, or they process that lead that I gave them, they send them back to me. So that's why even from the first year, my business was 100% based on referral. I had no ad. I don't have even LinkedIn. I don't have any Yelp. I don't have any website. It's just referral.
Well, explain to me why you don't have social media.
Very good question. So two reasons. One, in my line of work, compliance is very important. So that's why many financial institutions, they don't want you to have a platform that has the blogging or writing or communication capability unless it's regulated by the financial institution. So some of these platforms are not regulated, and they do not have the monitoring power. So one side is the compliance side. The other side, which again is as important, is our business is all about shaking hand and taking care of people, right? So the impact of sitting with an estate planning attorney and understanding this problems that they solve and sending them the right referral is significantly more important and higher and stronger than me having the best, most beautiful SEO'd website out there, right? Because at the end of the day, if that estate planning attorney is happy about my services to their clients, they send me one or two clients, which has almost 100% closing ratio. And those are great clients because they know what sort of problems I solve, and I know what sort of problems they solve, and then creates a strong, everlasting synergy, which makes it very recession proof. In fact, the best year of my practice was 2020, the lockdown year,
Wow.
just because of the strength of the relationships.
You know, as even as a marketer, I try to share with folks that we are here to support the business processes and relationships of the business, not their necessary. It's wonderful generating that and helping with that, but we're there as again a help and as an assistant, as an aid
Yeah.
to you, the business owner. So you still have to do the work, right? Let me throw out a phrase to you: leaders are readers. Complete the sentence for yourself. How does it apply to Bardia Hariri?
Yeah. As a leader, you need to have a good eyesight about the future, right? So you need to have a lot of data, and you have the skill set to be able to uh, think about what you're doing and criticize yourself, evaluate yourself every week, and make sure that you are making a better version of yourself. Part of it is through the experiences that you have as an individual. Part of it is through things that you read. So I'm not a strong book reader. I read Wall Street Journal a couple of times a week. I read different news, left, right. I don't want to just focus on one ideology. I want to make sure I hear both sides. So that would help me to critically evaluate and read between the lines. I don't just read the platforms that are written in the US. I read things which are published in Saudi, in UAE, in Israel, in Middle East. I want to hear all different point of views and different narratives. That's the only way that you can learn and understand what the reality is. And if you ask me what are the favorite books,
Or audiobooks.
I can refer to what are the favorite books because I have them here.
Because now that I wear glasses, I'm not as much a reader either. It's more like logistics.
I
Yeah.
think one of them is this one, the discipline. I mean, for
Oh,
discipline, yeah.
to
So
excellence.
yeah, to execution, four disciplines of execution. Because we can always talk about ideas, we can always talk about different strategies, but it's all about execution. If we don't know how to contextualize the initiatives, who does what and how to do it and how to monitor it and how to measure your activities, doesn't make sense. So 4 disciplines of execution, I highly suggest that. It gives you the focus. Work your network. Again, this one is
Is that a
really,
BNI book?
yeah, it's really not about what we know. It's really not about who we are. It's all about, it's not even about who we know. It's all about how well we know the right people. And
Mm.
network, if you know the science of network, and if you have the right people as your power partners, and if you take care of them, then your business is recession proof, and you can yeah, go very far.
So, what if you met your younger self right now, strolling along the street, having a Starbucks or something?
Yeah.
If you met your 20-year-old self right now, what would you share with your 20-year-old self?
Mentor, have the right mentor. There's a saying that says, show me your friends, I will tell you who you are. So making sure picking up the right friends, making the right decisions, and picking up the right mentors. A good mentor to look up for, to make sure that that mentor sees the value of the relationship. And remember, that mentor needs a mentee for whatever reason. That mentor needs somebody to help them to go to the next level. Because if one is a successful entrepreneur, they don't settle, they don't sit in one place. They always want to do something more and more and more, right? I mean, my wealthiest clients' net worth is $120 million, and they're always stressed because they're hanging out with people that they are billionaires. They want to just be them. It's not that, okay, once you make your first $40 million, you are there. No, once you get there, you need more, right? So having the right mentor that can give you that idea of thinking big, believing in possibilities, believing in your self thoughts, believing in your power to build up your destiny, that's the most important thing. So if in your 20s you have the right mentor, then yeah, your 30s and 40s is guaranteed. And then you have to keep upgrading your mentors. Maybe when you're in your 20s, your mentor makes 200,000 a year. When you are in your late 20s, your mentor should make at least 800,000 a year. When you are in your 40s, your mentor should be multimillionaire. Otherwise, you can't grow.
You said something earlier, and now that we're talking about mentors, it kind of makes me think, because you said it's about who you surround yourself with. In retrospect, is it the entire sphere that we're looking at, even if they're not the teachers, and the guidance for you? That all ties in. How do you choose good people to be around?
You
Just
have
in general.
Yeah, you have to say, you have to be careful about the fact that we only have 24 hours a day. So in a perfect world, you want to have that nice balance. 8 hours you sleep, 8 hours you focus on your career, 8 hours you focus on your family, loved ones, and yourself, right? So a good mentor, in my point of view, is that person who has the balance between these three verticals in their life, and they do it well. They're very successful financially, they're popular in the society, they have a healthy mindset, they are very popular among their community and their family, and they are very healthy, they sleep well. So if one of them is missing, then probably they're not the best mentors. Maybe they can be super rich, but they failed as a father, as a husband, as a wife.
Mm.
Maybe they have all of those, but they have a very bad health, having 20 cups of coffee a day and sleeping 1 hour a day. No, that's not a good mentor. That's not giving the good narrative, right? Or maybe sometimes you have to pick up and you have to be smart and have one person for one vertical. One person is very good in their health and wellness. One person is very good in their family. One person is very good in their career. So you have to be very smart in picking up the good points
Yeah, yeah.
and learn from the bad points as well. So that's very important.
I was listening to this review, a Harvard review yesterday about negotiating, and they made the very same point about separating the negotiation and the wants of each side from the individual.
Mm.
Don't judge the individual harshly, give the individual graces. Things might have happened outside that you have no idea about, but look at who they are. So I love that idea of not I mean, because everyone has an expertise in one area or the other, and we're a hive mind, right? So everyone's bringing something to the table. So you could look at your mentors that way. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic way of looking at it. What's the next step for you? Because there's a lot going on right now. If we were to push to the next step,
Yeah.
what does that look like for Bardia Hariri?
So we are fortunate enough that we have about 760 clients right now. Technically, I don't need to take new clients. As long as I can maintain it, I'm good. My family is taken care of. We have a good standard of living. But that gives me the sense of suffocation, of fear. The moment that I feel that I get the content, I feel somebody suffocating me. And that's why over the past couple of months, I've been building up the infrastructure to go to the next level, which means building my DBA, doing business ads, which means rebranding, building my own brand, which in the next 2 months or so, we are going to officially announce that as Hariri Financial Group, Hariri, my last name, Financial Group. So we're working towards that. So what does that mean? It means we can have access to more financial institutions to help more clients, to be able to help them diversify more across different financial institutions, and rebranding myself, this time focusing on my brand and hiring at least 30 new advisors in my firm.
Yes.
Right now, I can't hire the quantity, but with rebranding, I can definitely hire recruiting coordinators and bring 30 advisors every year. That way, I can really go to the next level. It would require me to be more like a leader, inspiring, educating, and empowering those advisors in front of just instead of just sitting in front of clients. My agents, my advisors will be my clients this time. Yeah.
I love that. Uh, you've given so much information during the show. The sad thing is what I realize is even as you're reading books, you realize that someone's already done it. Like something as simple as someone was asking me the other, like, how did you lose the 30 pounds? And I was about to go into a long story, and I went, you know all the same things that I do. I said to them, you know exactly what you should, but are you doing it? Are you not doing it? Have you made a choice to do that? It's too hard. Those are the same things. And as I heard you speak, I'm like, we literally know everything that we need to get to it. And we laid out a plan to move forward to do that. Folks, please reach out to Bardia. He is not, again, because of strict regulations, as you've heard, he is now off of social media. It's they're doing it for our good to protect us as well. But it forces us to communicate with each other and get off of the devices. So I urge you to reach out to Bardia. I am going to drop his contact information in below. And of course, if you're also looking for marketing and branding as well, which is what Bardia's doing, we are doing that as well because we're looking at the operations, we're looking at the person as well. Our continued mission statement is to introduce you to everyday experts so they can share their not just their expertise but their experiences as well to up-level you both personally and professionally. We air every Thursday at 10 a.m. We're live on LinkedIn. This is not a super sexy, perfectly edited. We're being real and raw here. It's the beauty of entrepreneurs because they've been through it. They're so willing to give. They're the biggest givers that I know of. Um, Bardia, can you give us any last thoughts to close out this moment? Because we spoke a lot about the technical, but you did kind of get my mind earlier when you said mindset shift.
Mhm.
Can you close us out with that thought?
You say, I don't know. Nobody knows if we're born once or twice or more. I don't know. Because I don't know, I have to assume that maybe this is it. I have only one chance. So I have to create my own destiny. So I think the fact that we are in America makes us very fortunate, very lucky. I believe American dream is alive and well. For somebody who was born in another country and lived in four other countries, I believe this country has the potential. So there's no excuse to not be able to make it. I believe sky's the limit. I believe is all about here. When we wake up, we have to visualize our day. We have to take a piece of paper and write down the things that we want to achieve. This is what I did from 4:30 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. The things that I have to do, and then zoom out and see, okay, is this a good day? And then keep adding or removing to make it a good day. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. That's the beauty of being in America, because you can design your day based on your criteria of standard of living, based on the balances that you define. So just don't get consumed by news, by social media, or by people
Mm.
that cannot think big enough, and create your destiny. Sky is the limit. That's it.
Thank you so much. Wise, wise words, Bardia. Thank you so much. Thank you to viewers. Thank you to people who are going to catch us on the replay. I appreciate you so much because you've been sharing my content. I'm so humbled. Stay strong during these changing times. We have the tools, we have the people to interact with. Um, by all means, keep moving forward. Thank you so much again. Have an amazing rest of the day. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Bardia.
Thank you for having me.